Hi everybody, welcome back. And yes, I've still got my fan going because it is still quite warm and it's not the evening time. We're into daylight now. So, nothing has moved since the last update. It's still in the same position. All my tools are set in the same position. I just went to bed, got up, and we're going to get started again. Now, when we left on the last one, we put all the flashing in around the actual dormer, all the way around. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give that a coat of dark grey paint, just a bit of ordinary Vallejo, I think it'd be field grey, I think it will be. I'm just going to give that a coat, and then we'll start getting the rest of the tiles in and getting it finished off. So that's my next little project. So I should be back in a second. Now we're giving it a coat of grey paint, as you can see, just a quick one. It's just so it's underneath the edges of the tiles. Now it's all painted. Now we can actually start bringing these tile courses across to the actual dormers. Now there isn't no real magic way of cutting the angles. What I normally do is put all my full ones in first, like so, and then do a guesstimate on the actual angle. Just keep offering it up until you just snip it off and get it looking right. So there isn't no magic way of doing it, it's just by using your eye. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get these courses running, and I'll get the first angle cut, and then I'll see if I can't show you just how I sort of guesstimate it and get the angle done. Okay, I'm going to try and show you how I sort of do my cuts up the side here. I just place them in, then just take a rough guess of where that cut's needs to come. I mean, you could actually hold them in place, especially ones like that, and then just mark them if you wanted to, and then it's just a matter of really is a guesstimate when he keeps hold of it. It really is a sort of like there. Then just offer it back up, which you could do with just a fraction more, and just keep nibbling away until you break it, like that one. We'll start again. But that's the way it goes. You end up breaking a few. And even if you're doing it on site, you would end up. Now I'm going to be happy with that one, so I'm going to stick that one in. I'm not going to touch it. For the simple reason is that I will run down with a file between the two. So when we do this side here, just leave a little bit of a gap, and then we just use a flat file and just try and square up the edges. Now that one isn't too bad. So that's roughly how I do it. I just keep offering it up and snipping it back. Now I'm going to get on and get this bit around here just finished off. Okay, well, I've completed the top bit. We've cut, made the valleys in, so that part is now complete. So now I'm going to sort of like move my attention over to the dormers. The first thing I have to do is we're going to have to clad these two cheeks out either side of the dormer, and it's not going to be nothing fantastic, just use some of the floorboarding. This is a bit of the skirting board that I've actually cut for the inside, and we're just going to clad that from the top all the way down on both sides. Now I'll get on with that, and we'll be back in a few seconds. Now I'm going to try and show you how I do this little bit of cladding. Now you'll find that I do a lot by eye. I don't transfer any measurements or anything over. A lot of my stuff is done by eye. Now the first piece I put in is at the top there. Now I'm just going to guesstimate that angle. Yeah, somewhere around about there. And that fits and it looks okay. So all I'm going to do is glue that in. So I'm not actually going to cut it to length for the simple reason is there's not much point. It just makes, I think, just makes it more difficult, and it's making it more difficult because I've got the camera in under my arm. So we glue that first piece in, and then I just use my side cutters like so, just to cut it level. And the second piece I do exactly the same, just a rough estimate where it's going to go. That isn't far off. I'm quite happy with that. Now you can actually just transfer that angle that you've cut onto your next piece of wood, but I don't bother because I don't know, it's just probably because in the building we never really sort of, well, everything was done for speed. So exactly the same on that one. Use my side cutters just to cut it off. You see, because once that's dry you can get a little piece of sanding stick and just take the edge off. And the same again, roughly about there I would say. That looks about right to me. And then offer it up, and that to me is okay, so we'll glue that one in as well. So there's no, you don't really have to get that technical to do all your angles and everything. Like so, like I say, you don't really have to get that technical, or I don't find anyway. And then just snip that off, and we just keep on going on like that. Cut another angle, and hopefully that one's going to be right. Yeah, they aren't too far off. I can live with that. And I think because buildings are done, they're not done 100% accurate. There is a lot of well, in the building we make things look right, if you understand what I mean. When you're doing something, you adjust. If something's out, you adjust things to make it look right, and that's basically what you need to do with your model. Is as you're building it, is build it and adjust things as you go along to make everything look equal and in proportion. So I'm going to get on with that and get the other side finished, and I'll be back in a second. Right, I've cladded in that side and this side here, so the camera will focus. So both sides have been cladded in. Now we need a little bit of fascia running up here to the top. If I can get my big hand in there. All I will do is lay it against the side like that. I hope you can see, and just a mark at the top where the point comes. And like I say, I do everything by eye. I don't like to get retractors out and set squares and good knows what else, because well, I suppose you can, there's nothing stopping you. But as you can see, look, I've got a line already there, and that isn't far off. Take that big hand out of the way, sorry. And that isn't far off, so I should glue that one in, and I should do exactly the same the other side and get them two bits finished off. Now I've got that little bit of fascia done, as you can see, and I didn't do no different method, just glue it on and snip it off on my side cutters. Now both sides of the two cheeks are done, the fascia's done, so now we can actually move on and carry on with tiling. And this is going to start exactly the same. I'm going to put a tile on its edge at the bottom on this side and cut it into that corner, and the same the other side. So I'm going to get that done because I need the camera out of the way, to be quite honest. So I'm going to put them two first courses in, and I shall cut my first ones as well and get them ready, and then I shall pop back. Right, I've got the starter tiles put on the bottom there. On that side, swing it round on this side. So all we're going to do now is, with the full tiles, do a half bond exactly the same as what we did before, and just carry these courses on into the valley, and we'll just be cutting up the valley exactly the same way as we did this other side. So I'm going to get on with that, and I'll be back in a second. Right, I've tiled up to the top. I've ran a half course at the top just to finish it off, just so these two sides meet, and it looks correct. I've done that as well so we can actually make some ridge tile up now to go along the top there, just to finish that off. This bit here, as you can see, I'm just going to get a small file. I'm not going to do it because I need to hold it, but I'm just going to clean down them joints, just open them up, make them look a bit more tidier. If I turn the camera that way, you can see them. Just to take the edges off and make it look a bit cleaner, a bit straighter lined. So what we need to do now is actually make some ridge tile, and I will show you what I'm using to do that with. Right, we're going to need to actually make some ridging. Now I have got some half round ridge tiles, but the half round ones to me look a bit too modern. So I'm actually going to be using a piece of this. This is 4mm by 0.8 styrene, and it's the angle. And this is going to fit on here just nice. But the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to taper one end. So it's just a matter of tapering that corner, and then offering it up. That will just give me that angle against the roof. Mark it up to length. Nothing too technical there, and we'll just get that bit cut. Then we'll offer it back up again. There we go. Now the roof, the ridges don't come in one big long length. They're normally sort of like about 1.5 foot, 2 foot, yeah, about 2 foot long, somewhere around there, which is roughly, well, I'm going to go for a tile and a half. So if we just mark that up, a tile and a half all the way along, like so, we've got our marks. Now I'll put you on pause and I'll take you down to the bench. Right, we're back down on the bench. Now I'm going to be totally professional here because I wouldn't normally do this, but I'm going to use a square and just mark these across in a line. Now normally I would just pick my saw up and cut it. So we'll do that on both sides. Like so. So we've got our marks all the way through. Now, if I just keep this in shot, all I use is my little Tamiya little saw. That's what it is. It's a little saw. And where these lines are, if you just use a saw and just score a little line across them, like so. And turn it over and do the other side. Match the lines up. Nothing too complicated. And there we go. We've got our ridge tile. Right, we'll go back up to the dormer. Okay, back up to the dormer. And the little bit of white plastic has changed colour because I give it a quick coat of black paint. Now I'm just going to glue that into position on the top there, if you can see that. So I'm going to do that now, get that glued on, and I shall be back in a second. Right, the little bit of ridge has been glued on. Now we need to turn our attention now to, well, I'm just going to fill these gable ends in. I'm just going to mix up a little bit of filler now, and we're going to run just a little bit of filler in them. I don't really need to show you how to mix up filler and fill something. So I'm going to get them filled in, and also I'm going to get a coat of dark olive on the actual woodwork, so that will all be complete. So I'm going to get that done, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, right, we have done. I've given it a quick coat of green. Also, I've ran a bit of filler in the gable ends, that one there, and I don't know if I can get that round, and just down this gable end as well. Now when that's perfectly dry, I will get a sanding stick on it and just level it up. So that is just about it for this side. Now there will be an extra course of tiles going on the top here, but I will be doing that at a later stage after I've done the back, because I need to work out some type of hook for all this to actually sit on. So that will be a bit later. So this side's finished. Well, not absolutely finished, but I've done as much as I can do on here. I need to get the back sorted out now. That will be the next video, because that is a very big expanse of roof to do. That will be the next video up. This is the last clip and the end of this video, because I have noticed I'm into about 20 minutes. And also my granddaughter Sky, she's on her way over, because we're going to be building a model kit this evening. So a little bit of time with the grandchildren. So I'd like to thank you very much for joining me, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one.